Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you another movie review. This time we're going to be talking about 300 Rise of an Empire. And this review may seem a little bit random to some of you, but I just have a whole stack of movies over by my TV that I haven't watched yet, but I've been meaning to. And this was one of them. Now, I haven't seen the first 300 in a few years, but I did see it, and I remember, I liked it. I did like Gerard Butler and everything, and I didn't mind the over stylized, violence, action, everything like that. So I was definitely willing to watch this sequel at some point. Now, the first one was actually directed by Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder, a director a lot of people know nowadays, for Batman v Superman and things like that. This one wasn't directed by him. He stayed on as a producer. But you can still see his visual style in there, I think. It still feels like in the same world that he adapted, from the comics and everything. And these are based off of comics, not real 100%, historical accounts or anything like that. So there are going to be differences compared to what you'd read in something like that, of course. And this movie, it takes place a little bit before, some during, and a little bit after the events of the first 300 movie. And I was wondering how much I would like it compared to that, because I do really like the scenario of the initial 300 story, Thermopylae Pass and everything like that, their last stand right there and everything with Leonidas. So I was wondering if they're going to have a story in this that would kind of hold up to the weight of that. Although, again, this kind of movie is more about the action and everything like that, too, but still. And it does. It entertained me a lot, but in ways I wasn't really thinking of. Of course, another big reason why I was interested to watch this movie is because of Eva Green. Eva Green, I love her. I know I'm probably mispronouncing her name. I guess it just depends on where you live and everything like that, how you go about saying it. But I love Eva Green. She's one of my absolute favorites. In fact, I'd probably say she's the strongest actor or actress working today. She is incredible in Penny Dreadful, if you couldn't tell by the poster of her in the background there. The fact that she didn't win an Emmy for that is still an absolute crime. She just has such a strong, magnetic, and charismatic presence to her that I absolutely love and think is really unmatched. And she plays Artemisia in this movie. She's sort of like the main antagonist, and you still have, like Xerxes, but he's not really as directly involved with the events of this movie. And we get a lot of Eva Green in this movie, which I'm not complaining about, as you can tell by my little collage I made of her in the movie here. You get a lot of time spent with her. She's sort of Xerxes' main general, main sort of field commander. And we get backstory on her. We get flashbacks, to her childhood. We find out that her family or her people were murdered by Greeks when she was just a kid, and she was taken in by the previous King Darius, so she does feel a strong sense of loyalty to the Persian Empire. And we get this kind of a cool dynamic between her and Xerxes when we see it, because Xerxes the one, the face of everything, but really it's Artemisia here that is the reason for him being in control for as long as he is, for as much as he is. And we get this moment where Xerxes hits her, and Eva Green is just awesome at acting this out, but reminding him who put that crown on his childish head. That's just a really cool line there. I love that. So she's definitely the most fleshed out character in the movie, which I was happy about, because she was definitely the best acting-wise in the movie. She was definitely the highlight of it, in my opinion. And yeah, I was rooting for her. I actually wanted her to succeed, or turn on somehow, turn on Xerxes. But I got her perspective on it too. I got why she kept on fighting Themistocles and the others endlessly. And she has some amazing action sequences. We'll talk about the guy who played Themistocles and the rest of the cast in a second. But yeah, like I said, visually it still is very Zack Snyder-esque, and I really like Zack Snyder as a director. I know he's gotten a lot of crap lately because people didn't like BVS, but I loved Man of Steel. I loved Watchmen. I didn't love BVS. I thought it was a little bit disappointing, but I didn't think it was awful. Definitely not. So I can definitely still see his visual style here. Yeah, the action is over the top. It is, a bit silly at times, but it's kind of trying to be. And visually, I think it is fun to look at. It does sort of remind you of kind of like the way the Spartacus TV show looks to a certain extent. These movies do. But I think maybe Spartacus was partly based off the first 300 and how that looked. So you can kind of compare it to that. And yeah, of course, the blood is all CG and everything, and it's kind of noticeable, I'll admit that. But once you get used to it, I think it's just a very fun action type of oriented movie to watch on that end too. And if you like Eva Green, or you just got to like the Artemisia character, I think there's some character stuff you can latch on to too. And now let's talk about the rest of the cast. He also had, like I said, I mentioned him briefly, Themistocles. He is played by Sullivan Stapleton. I did like him. I thought he was fine. I didn't like him quite as much as Gerard Butler's Leonidas in the first movie. But I thought he was good here. He's a decent actor from what we've seen, for what he had to do. He's a little bit more reserved. He's not quite as like I don't know if I want to say charismatic, or quite as like not well spoken, but he's not quite as like in your face as like Leonidas' style would be. He's a little bit more reserved, a little more quiet. In a way, he sort of feels like more of like a real guy in a certain way, to a certain extent. But I thought he was fine. He's just not as fun to watch as like Leonidas, but I still thought he was alright. And then he also had Lena Headey returning as Leonidas' wife. Of course, Queen Gorgo. I really like her as well. She's an excellent actress herself. Her work on Game of Thrones and everything like that. What I've seen of her on Sarah Connor and just everything, even on Mortal Instruments. So she's an excellent actress herself. One of my other favorites working today, probably to a certain extent. But yeah, I like her role in this as well. It is brief, but she plays a very key role. So I like that. There's also this father-son dynamic going on. I can't remember the names of the characters, honestly, but it is kind of cliche with what happens with them. The father, spoilers, eventually being killed and everything like that. And then the son kind of taking out the strength from that, and sort of becoming a better warrior and everything, which was fine. It's just one of the little subplots, I guess. And that's pretty much it as far as the cast. Everyone else did their job and everything. So those were the highlights, or the ones to talk about anyway. And like I said, the best part of the story is definitely Artemisia, Eva Green. She also tries to get Themistocles to work with her and, take him under her wing, or sort of work along together, because she actually sees his, prowess, what he can do. And, she kind of wants some of that in her army, I guess. There is also a sex scene, which isn't awful. But yeah, so as far as that story goes, I did like that. It was a little bit disappointing that Artemisia was just, killed in the end, by Themistocles. It felt a little bit weird that Themistocles was able to beat her in that fight at the end of the movie. Because considering how well trained she is, all her life and everything, and they said throughout the movie that the Greeks aren't even the Spartans, so he probably shouldn't have been able to beat her. But again, it's the good guy winning. Case of that. And there is also a moment where you see that Artemisia did accept her fate. She was ready to die there, so that's probably a factor too. But I just think she could have beaten him quite a bit easier than how it actually ended up going. But still, I did like it. There's plenty of fun action sequences to it. I know this isn't everyone's movie. A lot of people are going to whine about this or say it's there's nothing to it, but I definitely think there was, especially with Eva Green's character. So yeah, those are my thoughts on 300 Rise of an Empire. I did think it was a damn entertaining movie. I loved Eva Green in it. The rest of the cast was fine. So yeah, really nothing wrong with it. I liked it quite a bit. If I had to rate it, I'd actually rate it a B+. And yeah, it says Rise Conquer there, but I covered it with the letter. I really liked it. Honestly, though, a lot of it is probably born out of just how much I love Eva Green, but she did get the primary focus in the movie, so I don't think that's unwarranted. So yeah, I'd give it a B+. I liked it quite a bit. I do hope they do make a third 300 movie. I know Zack Snyder said before he'd rather do like a spiritual successor in like another era or something, but probably with like the same action style, like the Revolutionary War or something. I get it, but I'd rather just have a direct sequel to 300 because we need to see this movie version of Xerxes die. It'd feel unsatisfying if we never seen him finally brought down in the movies, but I guess we'll see what happens. But yeah, so let me know what you guys thought about 300 Rise of an Empire. And I'll have some more videos coming out for you today. Going to be doing a review on Banshee Season 1. And within the next day or two, I will probably do a review on Orange is the New Black Season 4. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, like, subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. I don't know what that was.